Hey, Chef. You been busy? What you been doing? Work, personal life, a mix of it got you running. You know how it can be. You know how it can be. It can be work. It can be personal. Look, you gotta have a personal, right? You mix them up, they have you running. Running, running, running. So, I hope you about to, I hope you get a chance to get a break this weekend. How you doing? How you doing? We're busy. Oh, we're busy. That's when we get so much more done than we expect to get done or that we think we're getting done. Word child, I had time to eat a chicken bone. I had time to eat a chicken bone, click my heels or something. Listen, that's a good thing though when it's work, cause at least you're preoccupied. You know, a lot of times some people would rather be really really busy than really bored. Not necessarily saying that because you're not busy you're bored, but you know how it is. Sometimes it's one extreme or the other. You know, so if you're busy, listen. If you're busy, as opposed to being bored, or anywhere in between, just anywhere in between, okay? So I'd rather be anywhere in between. But listen, the way time flies, it's okay to be bored sometimes because time is flying, okay? It was like, I know 4 weeks isn't a long time. You know, each month we get roughly 4 weeks. So that isn't a long time. But when you're talking about 52 weeks, 365 days, now that's a good bit of time. But it flies so fast nowadays. It flies so fast. Like, I don't know. The earth is rotating on its axis really fast. Seems like it's sped up. Thank you to those people in the chat. You can say hello if you would like. If you don't, I don't know. I'm just glad you're here. Okay? All right. Y'all know I'm not one to fuss and grumble and gripe about y'all hitting the like button. Listen, if I see that number, that little man that has numbers, that means you decided to stop by for a few seconds or a few minutes, part of the live, and I appreciate you. Okay? I appreciate you. Just y'all hear the head moderator. He said hello, everybody. So if you do decide to say something, make sure that you speak to me and my chef finest wine, my bro. Okay? Okay? My brother. Okay? You might as well say we blood brothers and sisters. So make sure y'all speak to him. Because if you don't say hello to him, if you say hello to me, say hello to him. Because if you don't, I'm going to be offended. Okay? I hope everybody, whether you say something or not, I hope that you're getting ready to have a great weekend. Hope that you had a great week. Okay, y'all, we're pulling this hill, okay? We're pulling this hill, all right? But we're going to keep talking, okay? We're going to keep talking. But I want you guys to remember, if you get overly winded, all right, you need to slow down. You need to take a break on the hill or level surface, whichever one you're on. Slow down. And if you need to, you can stop, okay? What's for dinner? Oh, Chef. Haven't eaten it yet, but I have a turkey avocado club sandwich and some potato soup. I got it from a deli. So it's really good. Years ago, I never would have thought I'd want avocado on my sandwich. But let me tell you something. It's so good. So that's it. We're eating light. We're gonna take the top bun. I'm not gonna eat the top bun. Usually when I get a sandwich, I don't eat the top bun. You know, to cut back on those carbs, I don't eat the top bun. But if it's, listen, sometimes that bread tastes good, okay? Sometimes that bread tastes really good. So it depends on the type of bun. Usually I don't eat the top bun, or I'll half it. I'll half the top and half the bottom and eat it that way. So what you got for dinner? Oh, excuse me. What you got for dinner? What's up for dinner for you? And anybody who catches this replay, leave it in the comment section. What are you having on this Freedom Friday? Okay? A lot of us don't feel like it's free. It's free right now in the world, but listen, or free right now in this country. Listen, make the best of it that you can. Okay, exercise the freedoms that we do seem to have right now. Okay, because with what we got going on over here in the United States, freedom isn't free anymore. Okay, so whatever freedoms that you have right now that aren't being stepped on, stomped on, tampered with, enjoy your freedoms. Okay, chef. Nothing, I had enough for breakfast. Okay, all I need is a Diet Coke. I got you. That sounds good. Listen, when you have enough in one sitting for all day, that's a good thing. That is a good thing. When you've eaten enough at one sitting and it lasts you all day. Y'all, these mosquitoes are not playing. And even if it's not a mosquito, it's like some of these little gnats and stuff, they bite, okay? Some of these gnats bite. And believe it or not, flies bite as well. I don't know if all flies bite, but those black and green flies, some of them bite. When I was a little girl, I used to be like, nah, they don't bite. Man, listen, if they sit long enough, and I guess if they're hungry enough, they bite, okay? They bite. Or whatever it is that they do. I don't think they sting, I think they bite. So, again, I hope you guys had a wonderful week. If you did, if your week was rough, if it was hard, I hope that you make up for it this weekend. And I hope that you have a wonderful weekend. You know I say treat yourself every day for like 30 minutes out of the day. If you can't find 30 minutes, shoot for 15. To just spend some time with you. Spend some time with yourself. Hi, Retirement Days, Comfort Foods and More. Hi, Betty. Let me tell you something. I know I put on insect repellent. Listen, I sprayed it on, y'all. I should have did a combination. I should have sprayed and wiped. You know those wipes that you use for insect repellents? How you doing, Betty? Welcome to the chat. That sandwich looked tasty, Betty. That chicken sandwich that you made. Okay. And your homemade Chick-fil-A sauce. It looked delicious. That's good. Glad to hear that. So that looked delicious. You keep on, listen. Betty, every time we turn around, you're sharing a recipe. You're making something delicious, okay? You keep on sharing those cookies, those sandwiches like that, those soups that you make sometimes. You're going to continue to do good. You're going to continue to grow. Congratulations on your growth. Congratulations on your growth. This breeze feels so good. I'm sorry that it's fighting with the speaker on the phone, right? Y'all know when the wind blows, I say that the speaker and the phone speaker and the wind are fighting. Right? They're fighting. So I'm sorry that the phone speaker and the wind are having a fight right now, but listen, it feels good. It may not sound good, but it feels good. It definitely feels good. You're welcome. You're welcome. You always have something. And then it's not, The foods that you make, they aren't hard. They don't seem to, require a lot. They seem to be things that you usually will have in your cabinet. And see, like with Chef is like that too. Chef will come up with some of the best soups, okay, best sandwiches. And it's really not like you have to really go out and shop. A lot of the times it's stuff that you already have. You may have to go out and get a few ingredients, here and there, every now and again. But a lot of times when I see you guys preparing your food, I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, I got chicken breast, okay? Because I do not like chicken thighs. I cannot. Dark meat, I'll eat legs, but I don't like thighs. So it's like I got chicken, I got paprika, okay? Got sea salt, got pepper, garlic powder, onion powder. It's like basil, parsley, it's like you have a lot of the stuff in your kitchen already. It's just remembering to take it down and let it thaw when it comes to your meats and just doing it. Let me tell y'all about veggies. I love the farmer's market, right? So, like my bro Chef was saying, he was busy this week. Sometimes you get so busy, it's like you almost forget that you went to the grocery store. Because I found myself saying, I need to run to the grocery store. I'm like, hold up. I went to the farmer's market last week. I went to the grocery store. I cooked maybe twice because I tend to try to cook enough so that we have leftovers. So 2 days can account for 4, sometimes even 5. And it's just that when you start to think about the things you would like to cook right then, you feel like you have to run to the grocery store and you don't. All you got to do is just go look in your refrigerator, look in your deep freezer, look in your pantry, look in your cabinets. And I'll say, I was going to say 9 times out of 10, but I'll say 7 to 8 times out of 10, you have almost half of or all of what you need. Sometimes we just go and spend extra money, y'all. Sometimes we just go and spend extra money. Sometimes that's what it is. We're just going and we're spending extra money. Okay, I had to mute for a minute there. Had some music. Betty, you keep your I don't blame you. I think, and Betty, that's what I'm saying. I do too. So a lot of times, I don't know why. I think because for a while, I would just have, how you go to the grocery store and you spend like a couple of $100s for groceries, right? And it's almost like when sometimes you have to make that second run for milk. Well, no matter what type of milk you drink, whether it's soy milk, almond milk, oat milk, regular milk. So sometimes you have to make that second run for something like that. Or eggs, because a lot of times eggs tend to go fast in my house. Because we're going to bake something, we're going to eat breakfast. So sometimes you have to make that second run for that, maybe for bread. So it's like I think what it was is when I felt like I needed to make that second run for that, I was just in the grocery store getting other stuff that I didn't need. So it's best to stick to your list, okay? It's best to stick to your list because then you end up having a well-stocked pantry, which you should, but sometimes you have stuff that it's like, okay, I could have held off on that. I could have held off on that. I really could have held off on that. So I might go into the pantry and have like, the tall things of black pepper, like 2 of them, and a third one in the cabinet. But if I go to the store and don't stick to what I want to go get, when I make like that second run, maybe every 2 weeks I go heavy. So when I make that second run in between time, like to get the smaller things that we go through quickly, if I see it on sale, I'm grabbing it. I gotta learn not to do that, okay? Because when you see things on sale, the only time it's really and truly a sale for you as far as you saving money is if you need it. When you buy things because they're on sale and you're already well stocked, it's like you could save that money or you could put it towards something else. So a lot of times we just buy things because they're on sale. Hey Lawrence, hey bro, welcome into the chat. Welcome into the chat. I got my Chef Finest wine. I got my Lawrence. I got Betty. Welcome into the chat. Thank you to those who gave a thumbs up. Thank you for those who are stopping by for a little bit. I hope you guys have exercised at some point today. Okay? I hope you've done so all week. There's nothing wrong with exercising 7 days a week, especially cardio. Okay? Cardio, aerobic activities. Now your weight training, you might want to have that about 3 to 4 times a week. 3 to 4 times a week. If you're a beginner, maybe once or twice. But that cardio, listen, you get up, you go to work, you get up, you go to school, you get up and do whatever you do. Find 30 minutes to focus strictly on your cardio. Okay? I am, thank you, bro. It is a fantastic Friday. It really is. That's what I was just saying. I hope everybody's had a wonderful week. You know, if things were a little rough during the week, a little shaky, a little rocky, plan to have a wonderful weekend. Okay? Plan to have a wonderful weekend. And listen, for those who don't work on the weekends, if you weren't able to find that 30 minutes that I talk about, I encourage you guys to exercise for an hour a day, right? With your cardiovascular aerobic activities, exercises, an hour a day. If you're a beginner, or if you are okay with where you are as far as your goals, maybe 30 minutes to 45 minutes is good with you, okay? If you're okay with where you are. But some of us, we just got to get it in, right? And we shoot for an hour. And a lot of times it's like an hour and a half, okay? Because when I come on here, that's why I've been trying to limit my walk and talks to 30 minutes, maybe an hour. Because I've already gotten it in earlier in the day. So, honestly, we're working like on 2 hours. And sometimes we're on here for 2 hours. But that's when I slow down and we just start to, chit-chat a little bit, shoot the breeze, okay? Sit on the curb and speak, okay? Talk a little bit. But get those legs to moving, okay? No matter where you are in your journey. You don't have to be, let me tell y'all something. If you come across this video, this live, the replay, when you see people who are really thin or skinny, you don't tell them not to exercise, okay? Hey, Top, what's going on? Happy Friday to you. When you see people who are small in stature, whether they're short, tall, or whatever, but just, kind of slim, you're darn right they need to exercise too, right? You exercise for your fitness. You exercise for health. And just because someone is skinny doesn't mean they don't need to exercise, okay? When people are on the heavy side, you don't tell them not to eat. You tell them to adjust their diet. But they've got to eat. They've got to eat. Right, slim don't equate to healthy. And just like heavy-sized people aren't all unhealthy. Lawrence says, what's up, Chef Finest wine, bro? I think he stepped away for a minute, Lawrence. So hopefully he'll be back before I get off here. Right, Top. It's like, don't question people. And you know what? Sometimes I think people get a thrill out of that. Like you might see somebody at the park or, jogging. And a lot of times I see people of all sizes jogging. But I usually see smaller people. I'm just going to be honest. I usually see slimmer people jogging. Well, sometimes people who are on the heavier side, I don't know why. That's just what I usually see. But I'm thinking maybe it's just the time of day that I go out when I do go to the park or something. Usually I just do neighborhoods or shopping plazas. But a lot of times people will refrain from doing stuff in the public because of public opinion. Okay? So when I usually see people jogging, walking, they're usually I guess what you would say is weight-wise, they're small to average. Maybe that's because when people who are a bit heavier or overweight are outside and they're outside trying to enjoy the outside scenery and get their exercise in, maybe they get tired of the looks. Maybe they get tired of the stairs. And then with the people who are really small, really slim, they have to face the same thing sometimes. People having opinions that aren't facts, opinions that aren't important, but they got to throw them out there, right? Just because someone is slim does not mean they don't need to exercise. Your body is a machine. God has given out, our bodies are machines that we don't do right by them, right? But exercise is a way to do right. If someone is slender, don't be a wise ball and ask them, what are you doing exercising? They're exercising for the same reason everyone else exercises, for their health, to become fitter, or more fit, however you want to say it. Okay? You don't know what they have as far as their family, hereditary. They might have high blood pressure just because they're 5'4" and weigh 100 pounds or 110 pounds. You don't know. You know? So just like you wouldn't tell a person who is obese or overweight not to eat or question why they eat, they still need their nutrients, don't they? Right? You don't question a slim person as to why they're exercising. Everybody has sense until it's time to have sense. And the common sense would say they're exercising for fitness, for health, if they're healthy, to stay healthy, if they have something going on, to help hopefully improve that situation. And maybe just as a mental release, okay? Maybe as a mental release. I'm going to slow down a little bit because it's 24 minutes, so I'm going to try to keep it to about 30, 35 minutes. So I'm going to start slowing down so I can see the comment. Oh, Lawrence, let me see, what did you do? What Lawrence up there talking about? Let me see. Let me go up. We all got to move and eat right. Exactly, Top, exactly. Okay, he says, Top, how are you doing? A lot of dirt roads have a lot, okay, which make it difficult. Got a lot of dirt roads there? Okay, I got you. Top says, hi, Lawrence. Yes, it's all about public opinion. So you'll have someone, listen, maybe you don't know them, but you know how many billions of us is it in this world, right? You'll have someone who's very slender on one side of town, doesn't really want to go to the park because everybody's looking like, what are you doing exercising? You have someone else who's overweight on another side of town, not wanting to go. They don't want to go to the same park because people look at them like, how did you get this way? And then the main people who have all the questions are not perfect, because nobody's perfect. The main people who have all the questions aren't perfect, because nobody's perfect. I seen someone, I called that, I thought they blocked. Lawrence, whoa, wait. Lawrence, don't you be out here and starting no stuff. Because I need to know who you, because let me tell you how people do on here. I don't know who you're talking about. I know who does it. One person in particular, but I don't know if you're talking about that person. So before you insert my name into their comment section, please don't insert my name into their comment section, because I might not know who you're talking about. But they do it. It's one. I'm waiting for her to hit a split. Since she want to do everything I do, I'm waiting for her to do a handstand on the wall. But she's not gonna do that. She'll molest she'll molest an exercise ball, but she won't hit that split. And she won't hit that handstand. And I bet she won't do 100 jumping jacks. I know, Todd, what did he do? I had a super slim friend with dangerously high blood pressure. Yeah, top, I'm telling you, it doesn't discriminate. See, it doesn't discriminate. Someone can have high blood pressure and be 100 pounds. Someone cannot have high blood pressure and be 300 pounds. Okay? Just because you see someone who, you know, typically when I see people that have high blood pressure, they're all sizes. Some days I may see more heavy set people. Some days I may see more slender to average people. So it's all about what we eat in our lifestyles, but it's also, genetics. It's your genes. Who did you tell that to, Lawrence? Right, Top, because he can't do that. It's that person. It's the largest I've ever been due to hormonal changes. Yes, so many things can cause size increases and, cause your weight to fluctuate, Top. I have to push myself. Right. Lawrence, who are you talking about? Because if you put my name in the chat, I need to know who you're talking about. Because see, they'll come to me. They won't come to you because I have a channel. So please don't do that. So I need to know who you're talking about. Lawrence, don't let me find out. Top, I'm going to get you to help me handle him. Don't let me, because these people on this app, especially this app, they're crazy. Not all people, but so if it don't apply, let it fly. Some people don't want to let stuff fly. They want it to apply to them so they can have a reason to say something. This app, I see so many young kids and like young adults like laugh at the older people on the app. Because they be wilding. Like, did y'all not get this out of your system in high school, in grade school, in college? Lawrence says here, give me the initials. You can give me the initials, Lawrence, and then I'll know. Because then I'll know if I know who you're talking about. Because a lot of us do the same stuff. But there's specifically two, that away from over here. Because I just called out what they were doing. Like sometimes I use the worst kind of music because I can do stuff to like down to the music. It's like they come in this live. Especially one of them, because she's stalkerish. She comes in this live. She goes on my channel to see what music works good, what music doesn't. She's very stalkerish. And it's sad to say, but be very careful. When YouTube tells you to be careful, they mean that. Yes, Top. Yes. And see, at first, people be wanting to know. Then when you tell them, they trying to find all kinds of justifications for them. I'm like, nah, I know what I know, and I know what I see. And if it happens to you, you don't want anybody justifying it to you. So I know what I know, and I see what I see. And like everybody likes to say, there's room for everybody on here. Everybody, you have niches. That's why they're called niches, right? Because you do some of the same things. So that's not the problem. I want people to get up and move. But when you go and you start repeating everything I say, trying to anyway, with no medical knowledge, right? When you start trying to do everything that I do, and you honestly, I promise you can. I promise you can. I might just have a friend hold this camera, right? And let them know, if you want to follow behind me, then you're going to have to do these flips. You're going to have to do these stands that I do. But I try to keep it cute. And we just walk and talk over here. We walk and talk. We drop nuggets. Y'all know I always say, don't do anything you see me do or hear me say. If you do so at your own risk. That being said, if walking is free. Everybody loves to walk. And suddenly everybody's on this walk and talk kick. Well, that's natural if you're walking and you're walking and talking. But I just decided to make it my channel because there are so many things that walking and talking can show you, right? About yourself, your fitness level, and about your body. It can show you the things that you need to be And it can show you the things that you don't need to be doing. Because as I always say, the most important component is the walking. So if you're uncomfortable talking, don't talk. Just walk. Work your way up to walking and talking, right? Or if you're going to talk, you're going to be a little bit winded, but instead of sounding like overly winded and making excuses for it, slow down and walk and talk. Slow down and walk and talk. You will gradually work your way up to it, because the more you do it, as long as you are physically fit enough and don't have any conditions stopping you, the more you do it, the more you'll do it. You get what I'm saying? The more you do it, the more you'll do it. Your stamina will improve. Your endurance will increase. Mentally, your stress level will go down. It won't erase all your problems. It won't erase all your problems, but hopefully any type of cardiovascular movement, whether it's walking, jogging, running, skipping, hopping. Okay, we're gonna leave the G off. Skipping and hopping. Okay? That's 5 things. You can go swimming, okay, mountain climbing. You can go skiing. That's probably the only one you gotta pay for. You can play tennis. You might have to pay to play tennis, depending on if maybe you got your own little tennis court. But if not, you might have to pay a fee. But you might have to pay to swim if you don't have your own pool, right? You can ride your bicycle through the neighborhood, at the park, up and down the street. If you don't want to leave your house, go up and down the street. Or you can get on your stationary bike. You can get on your walking pad. You can get on your treadmill. You can get on your elliptical, right? You can walk around the biggest room of your home and make laps. If you want to go outside but don't want to go too far because it's too hot or it's too cold, walk around the perimeter of your home, the perimeter of your apartment complex, right? I just named off about 17 things, right? Okay, you can grab the kids, if you have kids, or your nieces and nephews, or your neighbors' kids, or your neighbors. And you guys can play softball once a week, or once or twice a month, every 2 weeks. Play football, basketball. Get you some stop and go in there, some anaerobic activity as well, right? Make sure you do your weight training, your resistance weight training. There's so much you can do. But let me tell you, that walk and talk, 2 of them left straight up out of my chat. And the reason I say something, like they act like it's petty, but it's not petty. Because before I started focusing on it, they weren't. And it's like once they started to focus, okay, they're going to get in shape. But why you got to follow my skirt tail? Like, why you got to follow? My parents always told me that if you're doing something that 100 people are doing, find a way to make it yours. Find a way to do it your way. Find a way to do it your way. And that's why I say, I don't like motivation and encouragement. Those are 2 synonymous words. But I prefer to encourage people. I feel like when you motivate people, it's almost like you got to pull them up off the couch, pull them up out of the chair and get them started, right? So when you do that, they sometimes become too dependent upon you. They really will. They'll become dependent upon you. So what I do, there's a slight difference in the 2 words for me. Once you've gotten up, you've motivated yourself, or someone who loves you, who truly knows you, has motivated you, then I encourage you to continue. I like to encourage you to continue. Let's see, Lawrence says, praying you get a sponsorship from Lawrence. They be in the, you know what? They be in your email, and I'm waiting for the right one to know that it's the right one. Because it's best when they come through YouTube, the studio, which I've gotten a couple through there. And see, me saying this, that's probably going to make them drive. It's hard. It's sad when you can't really share the things that you got going on, because there's a big head, Rottweiler head. Y'all know I don't be doing it. That's sitting there soaking up everything that you say like a sponge. And especially after you motivated this person, you tried your best to encourage this person. Nuh-uh. So it's like, it's sad that you can't share. That's why I say never put all of your eggs in one basket. Because I'm telling you, there will be people who will congratulate you, who They'll do it in a way that makes you think they're sincere, and they're not. And the reason, one way you can tell is when all of a sudden you almost see your channel within their channel. You almost see your channel within their channel. So I don't motivate grown people anymore. I motivate young people and kids, young adults and kids. These people who are in their 40s, some of them have grandkids, but definitely old enough to have kids. They need to find their own motivation. Motivate yourself. Get your motivation from God. That's number one, first and foremost. And the next best person to motivate you is you. Now, you can be motivated by a stranger, but too many people on these apps cling on to other adults. It's like your goals become their goals, and not in a good way. Not in a good way. I'm not striving to reach other people's goals. I'm striving to reach my goals. Thank you, Lawrence. Lawrence says, hit that like button, y'all. Tap it, tap it, tap it. Okay, ring my doorbell. Y'all know I call the notification bell my doorbell. So please ring it, ring it, ring it. Okay, if you have not subscribed, subscribe and ring that doorbell. So that's why I like you got Chef in here, and who else? Retirement Days, Comfort Foods, and more. Both of them can cook their butts off. But when I look at their channels, I don't feel like I'm looking at the same channels. You know what I'm saying? I don't feel like that. Come on, top, codependency. And that's why I say strangers should not be codependent on strangers. Now, you can get motivation or encouragement from a stranger. But I'm saying when you're seeking motivation, and some of us do seek motivation. There have been times when I seek motivation for different things. There can be, we go through things daily. But I make sure that I seek motivation from God. I try my best to motivate myself. And when I'm not doing a good job, I seek motivation from those who truly know me, love me, and care about me. Because I know that they have no ulterior motives. They're not trying to get monetized. It's the simplest of things. Like, you're not going to get rich unless I'm not going to say who's not going to get rich, but the majority on here are not going to get rich off of here. So you network and make connections only to tear those connections apart. That's crazy. That's crazy. So when I look at Retirement Day, like today, the way she made that sandwich, I can go over there to Chef and watch him make a Philly cheesesteak, and it would be totally different, and I get something from both of them. Because Betty may as well be a chef, I get something from both of them. I can't keep up. You be walking really fast, really fast. Those be the ones that try to report you. Yes, top, yes, yes. Lawrence says I can't call them out. Lawrence, I'm learning to not really call them out as much, but when they be petty, I act petty too. So when they act petty, I'll act a little petty and I leave it at that. Like, I get a little petty back. Top says true, it's better with consistency. Yep. Retirement Day says, I take a break and exercise a little at work when it gets stressful. Yes, Betty, yes. You should. Like, I tell people all the time, especially if you're a beginner, get up and just walk around on your 15-minute break. Y'all walk around on one of your 15-minute breaks. Top says, you've encouraged me. Thank you, Top. I appreciate that. I'm glad that I have. And like I said, don't get me wrong. Of course, why would I be saying, look at my legs move? That's what I say all the time. I'll be like, look at my legs move. Watch my legs move. Hopefully that encourages you to get up and move your legs. But I don't want you to get up and do this and start saying the exact same thing I say in the exact same way. I'm like, can you not twist it up a little bit? And then when they twist it up, it's obvious that they don't know a lot about fitness. So that's why I start to use some of the correct terms. When I say get up and move, they probably know this by now because I've said it so much, but I say those synovial cavities create synovial fluid. The more you move, the more those cavities create the synovial fluid. That synovial fluid lubricates those joints. When you hear that popping, snap, crackle, and pop, do you some stretches, okay? Warm up, do a few dynamic stretches, okay? Get those joints, those muscles, those tendons, and those ligaments ready to work. Get that heart rate up, okay? Slowly get it up, right? Know what your maximum heart rate is for your gender, If you're a male or female, know what it is for your age. Know what it is for your health status. Okay? Know what it is. Once you find out what your maximum heart rate is, that's a nugget. I'm not going to tell people how to do it, but I'm going to tell you what to do. Because again, anything I say and do over here, you do so at your own risk. This channel is for informational, educational, informative purposes only. Okay? Informational, educational, entertainment purposes only. We drop nuggets over here. The nuggets that we drop, the nuggets that I drop, the nuggets that you guys drop in the chat, those are nuggets that we find that have worked for us and for other people that we know. Will it work for you? We don't know. So that's why I say, before you do anything I say or do, first and foremost, do your research. Get your research done by going to reputable sources, the .orgs, the .educations, the .governments. But I ain't telling nobody to check the government right now. But there are some governmental sites that you can trust. Okay, go to the library, and most importantly, pray about it and talk to your doctor. All right, talk to your healthcare team, your regular doctor, your nurse practitioner, your physician's assistant. If you've had injuries in the past, what do I always say? Your physical therapist, your occupational therapist, your psychologist, because let me tell you, some of these people got some issues. Your psychiatrist, okay? Your personal trainer at the gym, if he comes to your home, your motivational coach. All of these people, your dietitian, your nutritionist, all of these people make up your healthcare team. So talk to them, okay? Talk to them. I always say they lock arm in arm. They form a circle around you. They create a cell. You are the nucleus, right? They create an atom, a cell, and you're the nucleus. You're the headquarters. You have to be your biggest advocate. The best way to be your biggest advocate is to make sure that the lines of communication are open between you and each healthcare provider that you have, and between them, okay? And between them. And when you hear something on social media, whether it's from me, Lawrence, Top, Chef, whoever it is, even if you know it to be true, make sure that it's true for you, okay? Make sure that it is true for you. Let's see. Top says, you know I know about the Rottweiler. Top. Look, I had to scroll up, y'all, because I stopped looking. Lauren says, Philly cheesesteak. Hello, that's where I am from now. I am hungry. Big back activity. Y'all, Lawrence is a mess. Top says, when I worked out at the hospital, I would do legs at Central Park during lunch. Listen, best place to do it, get at one of those benches and go to town. Lauren says, break it down in hood terms, hood language. He said he loves this chat. We love you too, bro. Tom says, yes, I had to learn the heart rate that triggers my metabolism. See? Come on, Tom. Exactly. You have to learn your maximum heart rate, which means the rate that you should not go above, okay? Then you have to learn that target heart rate. And that's a range. So depending on where your goal is, if you want to do it just to be fit, you stay in a certain area of the range. And if you want to do it to burn those calories, you have to go to another area of the range, okay? Exactly. And remember, I always say, get your weight resistance in, okay? The more muscle you have, the more fat your body will tend to burn. The more muscle you have, ladies especially, listen, men too, but especially ladies, as you start to get like 40s, really mid 30s, 40s and up, don't stop building muscle. Don't stop building muscle. It's very important. Don't stop building muscle. It is very important. Lauren says, y'all be teaching me a lot. I'll be repeating it to my friends like I know something. Tell them, Lawrence, tell them. I bet you they be telling you stuff too. So you got to let them know you know too, Lawrence. So ladies, remember, work on those muscles. You don't have to be Hercules. You don't have to look like a man. You don't have to look like a WWE wrestler, male or female. Okay? But just build muscle. Get toned. Okay? Get stronger. Tone those muscles and get stronger. Okay? Listen, it'll help you to do your cardiovascular activities longer as well. The stronger you are, the stronger those legs are, the more you'll walk. Okay? All right? And when you're getting your cardiovascular, move those legs. Also remember to move those arms. Sometimes y'all will see me switch over because I'll start moving the other arm. Because I can't put the thing around my neck for the phone. It's just so annoying. It's very annoying. Yes, to help prevent osteoporosis. Come on, see, that's what I'm talking about. Y'all see Top dropping nuggets in the chat? Okay? You see Top dropping nuggets? And listen, don't get stuck on that thing about something only happens in a certain race. Okay? Because there are, in life, yes, you come across things where it may be more dominant in a certain race, but it can happen in other races as well. Especially after you have to take medicines and stuff like that sometimes. And sometimes even if you haven't had to take medicine. Some people are like, I thought that only happened with black people. Well, I thought that only happened with white people. Listen, we're living in a world where the people have polluted the world so much, you don't know what is what, okay? So just try to do your best to stay as fit as you possibly can. Okay? Just try your best to stay as fit as you possibly can, as healthy as you possibly can. Make sure that you get your, you get your preventative care. Get your preventative care. Make sure that you check back when they draw your blood. Make sure you see what your levels are. All of it. Your complete metabolic panel, your basic metabolic panel. Not just your cholesterol, not just your glucose. See what all of it is and see what range you fall in, right? And if it looks like something is a little bit low or a little bit high, just say, hey, the next time you go, if it's a little bit like a point or two, maybe even 10, the doctor has seen it, and if he's concerned, he's going to say something. But you have to be, you're your what? Your biggest advocate. So you have to be the most concerned. So when you pick up the paperwork and you see the blood work, ask him, hey, this number is like a little up. And then he can say, okay, we're going to watch it. It could be because of your diet. Some numbers just mean that you're malnourished a little bit. And when I say malnourished, it doesn't mean that you're starving, but maybe you need to cut back on some things, and you need to increase some things. Get some things in order, okay? Top says, true, absolutely, and check the vitamin D levels. Oh, yes, check those vitamin D levels, your hormone. And some doctors, if they give you pushback, especially if you just don't feel comfortable, there's nothing wrong with a second opinion. Even for the things that don't seem like they're telling you everything is okay, but you just feel like, say for instance, because some doctors, even though it's become very important, especially in the black community, about vitamin D, that has become very important to know what your level is. Or, some people still don't check it, but guess why they don't check it? Because of the expense. Because of the expense. Usually you don't, if you get your blood work, you usually don't see vitamin A, D, E, K, none of the fat soluble vitamins, none of the water soluble vitamins, okay? You don't see them. You'll see cholesterol, you'll see calcium, potassium, stuff like that. Sometimes you probably won't see magnesium. You'll see sodium, chloride, potassium, stuff like that. And my thing is, if they're going to draw blood, why not check all of it? But a lot of that boils down to price, cost. Okay, y'all, this guy's working on something. He got real loud for a second. A lot of it boils down to cost. So let them know that you're willing to pay for it. First thing they'll say is, well, most insurances won't pay. How do you know that? How do they know that yours won't? So ask them if yours will. And if it won't, and if it's something that you really want to know, tell them that you'll pay for it. So now that's what I don't like. Sometimes if you feel uncomfortable asking a doctor, if they say, well, no, I don't want to, and then like I said, everybody's been hearing about vitamin D, vitamin D. It started during the pandemic heavily. Vitamin D. If you want your level checked and your current doctor won't do it, or they kind of, oh, well, I don't think it, what makes you, first thing they're going to say, what makes you think that? Listen, you're my doctor. I want to have it done. It doesn't have to be anything making you think it needs to be done. It can just be the fact that you hear that your community is low. It's usually low in a lot of people in your community, so you want to see what yours is. If they won't do it, go to somebody else who will. Again, even if you have to pay for it. Because a lot of the times, they won't even check to see if the insurance will pay for it. They'll just be like, oh, well, they usually don't check for that. Well, you want it checked. You know? You want it checked. Right. I pay $200 for the test. Yeah, like, see, and that's the thing. They want to ask you, why do you want to check? Well, for your health. I mean, what's the obvious reason? You want to know? Because first is your business, right? It's your health, right? And with what's in the news, a lot of times doctors don't want to discuss what's in the news with patients, and a lot of them will tell you, oh, don't pay attention to the internet. Now, that's why I always say the internet is a great source to have, but make sure that your sources are reputable. Okay? And a lot of these sources are research hospitals, research schools. They have taught and trained these doctors. So don't let them just brush you off. And if they do, like, you can't force them to do it, but you can find another one who will. Okay? You can find another one who will. They know if we fix those levels. Exactly. Yep. Yep. Now, if they've given someone a chance, like some people, they know they're not going to exercise like they're supposed to. Like their blood pressure starts to go up a little bit. Okay, doc, I don't want to take that. I'm going to exercise. So I say, okay. They say, okay, we'll see you back in 6 weeks and see what's going on. Now, in 6 weeks, you could be doing your best and it can still be up a little bit. Your body is still adjusting. So he said, okay, well, let me give you another 6 weeks. So that's like about 3 months. Usually people take about 3 to 6 months if they stick to a regimen and they're really trying to adjust. So he may say, okay, I'm going to give you the weight on this cholesterol to come down, the weight on this glucose to come down, the weight on the blood pressure to come down. Now, if you're not exercising right, why do you keep telling him that? Why do you keep telling him that? You've got to do right. Because some just want to give you medicine. But some will say, okay, we're going to see if you can make these lifestyle changes. Because there are some who are holistic. Some doctors are holistic. They believe in science and they believe in, natural remedies. So people are different. So if your neighbor saw her blood pressure go down in 2 to 3 months and yours didn't, don't be discouraged. Y'all aren't the same. It may take you 6 months. Some people, depending on what it is, it could take them a year for their bodies to, just like it didn't take you however long it is for you to eat up the stuff that you ate, for you to be lackadaisical like you are. So sometimes it takes a little bit longer. Each person is different. All right? Let me see the comments. Okay, I think I read that one. They know if it's love. If I want to check, I want to check to prevent possible. Just check. Whatever your reason is. Whatever your reason is. People want to check those things to see if they're, in line. You could be having leg cramps. And you've gone to the doctor and they've only checked the calcium, the sodium, and chloride. Well, your nerves and muscles, they need to check the magnesium level. There are a lot of other levels that can be checked. But the first thing that they say is, oh, well, I don't know if the insurance is going to pay for it. See, in America, they depend on knowing too much about what insurance will or won't pay for. Try it, rent it. See, some of them, rent it even before you give the person the test, okay? And maybe they can't pay for the test that day, but rent it and see. And if the insurance doesn't cover it and they can't pay for it that day, maybe they can pay for it the next visit or the next paycheck or whatever it is. You never know what people's expenses are and how people are living. You can't, that bothers the heck out of me, being so judgmental. Because when you say, oh, insurance won't pay for it, how do you know that they can't pay for it? And even if they can't pay for it that day, if it's important to them, how do you know that they can't make a way to pay for it? Just so that they know. So that they know. So that they know. Yes, yes. There's so many doctors. Some doctors are they're not just MDs, they're DODs, there's just a lot of different types of doctors. So, there's nothing wrong with you getting a second opinion. And it doesn't even mean that you're not going to go to your main doctor anymore. Some doctors are just very scientific. They're not holistic at all. And I'm telling you, they'll tell you, well, you can do it. If it works, it works. And see, some of them have that attitude too. They don't want to focus on telling people to do things holistically, because I kind of understand some of it. Because sometimes when you tell them to take the holistic approach or the natural approach, if they don't see results, they just continue and continue and continue. And the doctor's probably wanting them to go ahead and get on the medicine. Now, if he's giving you chance and giving you a while, that's different. He went to school. He's the doctor. Doesn't mean that he's perfect. Doesn't mean that he knows everything. But he is the doctor. You aren't. You know how your body feels. But if you go and those unless you just completely don't trust anything, the blood work or anything, then go to another doctor. And if you're going to do that, especially if you're in a small town to a medium-sized town, you better go to a doctor who you don't even think they know each other. Okay? Okay? Because, somehow some people think, if you're going to do that, then make sure you go to a doctor who is out of that person's whole hemisphere, out of their network, out of their region. Okay? Because if you go to somebody who he possibly knows, you're going to think that they're collaborating. And when you say, well, I'm doing it because of whatever, hold on one second, y'all. Okay, so when you say, well, I want to check it, and they say, well, who's your doctor? Because most of them are going to ask you who's your doctor. And they won't tell you if they know them. They might, if everything's going good and everything's okay, they might. But if you're saying, well, my other doctor wouldn't do whatever, then they're not too much going to want to go against what that doctor said, because you're established with that doctor and you're coming to him, who may be his golfing partner, okay? Especially if they're both general practitioners or they're the same doctors. Now, if you're going to someone who maybe specializes a little bit more in whatever it is that you're trying to figure out, then, it may not be that way. But it can be that way, okay? So just make sure that that it is your right to get another opinion, okay? And sometimes you can even call the insurance company yourself if you're having questions about something, and you can say, hey, do you guys cover vitamin D testing? Do you cover hormonal testing? Do you cover whatever? And if they say no, then you already know when you go to your appointment and you ask for a certain test, or whatever test it is that you want to ask for that you haven't seen them having your blood work before, then you ask them, do they cover it? And so you'll already know. Let's see. That's why I was so good with billing codes. I would let the doctors know which codes help to get paid as long as it's in the chart. Everyone have a sensational Saturday, says Lawrence, a satisfying Sunday. Thank you, bro. Love you, Lawrence. Thank you so much, bro. Much love, love you so much. Thank you for coming over here. I love my bro. Chef Finest Wine. I don't know where he went. It has been an hour, and I'm about to get up out of here, y'all. Okay? I'm about to get up out of here. Thank you for the lying emojis, Lawrence. Lawrence said he about to get out of here. Lawrence said he about to get in trouble. Lawrence, I thought you was about to get me in trouble. But I'm about to get out of here, y'all. Y'all know what it is. Don't let bother people bother you, okay? I know it's easier said than done, but just try your best not to let them bother you, because honestly, that's their goal. Okay, that's their goal. Don't let stress people stress you out. Okay? And if you find yourself in a misery lounge, and when I say a misery lounge, that could be somebody else's channel, somebody else's page, some other social media platform, in the grocery store, at church, at school, at work, at an event. If you find yourself somewhere in a lounge, they made you feel all comfortable at first and like everything was cool, listen, everybody doesn't always hit it off. So if you find yourself in a situation like that, just grab your grip and go. It's not even worth the fussing about it, the trying to see what happened, what went wrong. Now, sometimes it depends on who it is. Now, if it's someone you really genuinely like and they like you, you know, we're human. We're going to have some disagreements, maybe even a spat. You know when it's worth working out, okay? Most of us have discernment. Most of us have common sense. Most of us have intuition. And you know when it's worth working out, okay? But when it's not, you don't know these people. Grab your grip and go. GYGAG, okay? If you find yourself in their lounge, and if they come into your lounge, there's nothing wrong with inviting them, escorting them out, okay? Tell them the GTGAG to grab their grip and go, okay? See you later. Tell them see you later. Lauren says, he says, okay, have a phenomenal weekend, top to bottom. Top says, I'm in a small town, so I have not met any friends yet. Oh, okay. You said not met them yet. So did you just move, Top? Did you just move? Listen, when you want to get out and you want to socialize, just, you know who you'll click with. That's what I mean when I say on the app. It's not worth going trying to straighten up everything all the time. Some things you'll know if they're important enough. Some situations, because on the apps, to me, it's just networking. Either networking or not networking. Okay? You either network or not. You got some people who, they don't be in no chat. All they do is they drop their videos or they go live. They mingle with the people in the live, and that's it. But you got some people, they feel like they have to be in every single live of every single person that they're subscribed to, or of every single person that somebody else is subscribed to. That's why I say, I had to stop that motivating people, because it was people in my chat. Now I see this person in every live every time I go. It's like it make you the only one drop in the live, drop it down in the chat. And I'm like, hold up, she met them in my chat. F that. F that. She met them in my chat. The hell? I can't help because she be up 25 days a week. 25 hours, 8 days a week. It's like you'll see them after you get up to get ready for work or something. 2, 3 in the morning. They in the live, or they in the comment section. I'm like, They can have that. But I'm going to say hello when I want to. But now I do understand when content creators say they don't go to chats, or they only go to very few. Because that's what I am now. I only go to very few. So, Top, you probably won't see me. You'll see me probably in Georgia Girl, yours, Jordan. Most times I leave a comment with Jordan. Because I've been knowing Jordan for about 3, 4, the whole time I've been on here. Now all of a sudden somebody want to be in their stuff all the time. They used to be in my chat. So I'm like, do you literally think I'm not going to go? Like, you can go where you want to go, but do you literally think? Because sometimes you can tell when people just want you to see them. And I'm like, because all of a sudden they start sharing out people you share like every day, all day, every day. And they never were at first. Even when they were in the chat with them, in your chat with them, they weren't doing it. So I'm like, people on these apps can be very clingy. They can be very clingy. Very clingy. Lauren's laughing. So y'all laughing. Yeah, they can be very clingy. And I'm like, I'm not here for that. I always say this isn't why the apps were, I'm thinking the founders of YouTube, Facebook, all the way back to what was that other one back in the day? I can't even think of the name of it. But it was one that's an older one. All the new ones. To me, I think the reason for the platforms were, of course, maybe not even money to begin with, because most platforms didn't have monetization. But it was for networking purposes, for you to learn something, to teach something, to just enjoy yourself, to maybe not even look at TV, but now sometimes I'd rather look at TV, okay? But for you to just enjoy doing something, learning how to sew, learning how to knit, learning about cars, watching families. You know, family channels right now can't even do anything because people just hunt them down and, oh, they put this spoon in their mouth to the left side. They ain't watching the little girl and the little girl sitting right there in their lap. They ain't doing this and they ain't doing that. You know, it wasn't, I don't think that that's what it was for. I think it was for networking purposes. The apps were created to have fun, okay? To network, to learn new things, to teach new things, to discover new things, to help you, to encourage you and motivate you to do things maybe that you thought you maybe couldn't do. Maybe you just need a little help or a little assistance. Maybe you want to learn how to sew. Maybe you want to learn how to knit. Maybe you want to learn to change your oil, you know? Hey, Georgia girl. Georgia girl says, hey, Tom. MySpace. There you go, Lawrence. I knew it was I knew it was an M. I couldn't remember. MySpace. MySpace. Lawrence, speaking of Georgia girl. Tom says, Lawrence Pride giving me my second win. See, that's what I'm telling you. Keep on pushing. Keep pushing. Like I always say, keep moving. When I'm outside, I say keep moving. Keep moving. Like when you're getting therapy, they're going to tell you to keep moving. If you have things that kind of slow you down, if you have arthritis, if you have certain issues, they're going to tell you to keep moving. Movement helps improvement. Movement helps improvement. Okay? Movement helps improvement. Now, Top, you're going to hear this somewhere else. She ain't never said this because, see, over here, I come up with little things to help us to remember things, right? So I've been saying movement helps improvement. And the stuff I come up with is not rocket science. It's not big. It's just that some people want to do what you do exactly like you. And I'm like, it's room out here for all of us to win. You can do exactly what I do. So many of us on here do the exact same thing. But put your own stamp on what you do. I put my own stamp on what I do because I come out here and I say stuff in little different ways, like my grandparents used to do. My grandparents used to love, they always had a saying, or they always related things to each other. Like I say, I eat M&Ms over here. I'm not talking about the candy-covered chocolates. I'm talking about moderation and modification. When I'm exercising, some things I have to moderate. Even in exercising, not just a diet, you have to modify your diet. You have to modify the way you do certain exercises, right? You have to modification and moderation. If you can't do an exercise 15 times, do it 10 times. If they say, I recommend you do this 15 times, well, you can do it, but you can't go quite that long. Do it 10 times and work your way up. Thank you guys for the thumbs up. I appreciate you. See, I do so much when it comes to health, not just health and medical, but health and fitness. So when they do leave my chat and they don't want to come back, I laugh at them because I'm like, you will never know. You'll never know what I know. And I don't even know everything. That's called continuing education. When we're in certain fields, we have to go to a class every couple of years because things change. Something I'm telling y'all today, it may be different at the end of the year. I might not get to the class until February of next year for me to know that it's different. On the West Coast, they may already know. On the East Coast, we may already know, and they don't know yet. It just depends. It just depends. So even professionals don't know everything. So that's why when people leave my chat and I hear some of them sometimes, and I'm like, this girl ain't never used to say this. She's saying this after she left my chat, but she has no book knowledge to back her up. She has no clinical knowledge to back her up. She has no medical knowledge to back her up. She has no professional knowledge to back her up. Right? So that's why I always give my disclaimer. It's not just a YouTube disclaimer, it's a professional disclaimer. Because I got licenses with an S, okay? Certifications with an S. Not one in this field and one in that field. I have degrees. So I'm going to always say, don't do anything I tell you to do that you hear me say, or you hear me saying that I do it, or that you see me do on my shorts. Because y'all know I'm mostly a shorts channel, right? If you do so at your own risk. Always, always, always contact your primary healthcare provider. Be that your regular doctor, your nurse practitioner, your physician's assistant, your specialty doctor. your nutritionist, your dietitian. If you've had injuries in the past, your occupational therapist, your physical therapist, your motivational coach, hell, your personal trainer at the gym. All of that, like I told y'all earlier, all of those are your healthcare members. That's your healthcare team. You're the nucleus of that cell. They make a cell around you. They lock arm in arm and they form a cell around you. Right? So you need to make sure that you guys are all on the same page. You are your biggest advocate. You are your biggest advocate. I see Georgia Girl said, hey to Lawrence. Good night, Lawrence, bro. Lawrence said we're going to make him stay, Top. Georgia Girl, we've been in here talking. Lawrence said we're going to make him stay. I've been in here an extra 12 minutes. look at Lawrence. Somebody's legs hurt. Lawrence, I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you, Lawrence. And look at, yeah, I now want some M&M. You want some M&M? Look, that's okay, Top. Go get them. Like, we can eat. Like I say, a lot of times we be on these special diets. Lawrence say he's tired. And what it really just takes is maybe you not to be on a certain type of diet, but just maybe improve your diet. Eat your candy, but don't eat a whole bag in one setting. Take some out, put the rest up. If you have to hide it from yourself, give it to your husband and say, don't give it to me. Give it to your kids and say, don't give it to me. Give it to whoever. And you're at work, give it to your employee and say, listen, hide the rest of these M&Ms from me. Okay? Until you learn to just not eat the whole bag. Sometimes that's all it is moderation when it comes to your diet and when you're doing an exercise and it seems like that exercise is a little bit too much. Don't go on the heavy side. Start on the light side. Like I always say, if you want to do a squat, maybe you do baby squats. Baby squats. Make sure that those knees don't go past the toes, but do baby squats. Put that butt down. Squeeze that butt. Pull up. Broaden your stance. Put those feet under the shoulders. Baby squats. Baby squats. You need to hold on to the wall. Hold on to the wall. Hold on to a chair. You need a chair in front of you. Push that butt out and squat. Don't let those knees go over those toes. Push that butt out. Squeeze on the way up. Squeeze that butt. And you ain't got to get you no BBL. Okay? You ain't got to get you no BBL. Squeeze them butt cheeks as you come up. Look at Top says, Top says, eat your candy and then go get you some kale. Okay? Then go get you some kale. Top says, eat your candy and then go get you some kale. Look at Lawrence. Lawrence, you couldn't look. That's what I'm talking about, Tops. That's all you got to do. Go get your M&Ms. Eat your M&Ms, okay? Just learn not to eat them. You know how sometimes we get on we just go on a rampage. Like we might want a bag a day. like, if you go on that kind of rampage, listen, eat half the bag so that you save the other half for the next day. And so that you aren't eating a whole pack each day, okay? And then you'll find that you're eating it every other day. And then you'll find that you're only eating it once a week. Next thing you know, you don't even have a taste for it anymore. At least for a while. Okay? At least for a while. At least for a while. I'm about to get out of here, y'all. It's Friday. Okay, y'all enjoy your Friday. Have a fantastic Friday. Okay, a free for all Friday. Go out and just let your hair down. Get a little loose, okay? All right, enjoy yourselves. And hopefully tomorrow is Saturday. I don't know. You know, I used to come on here every day at one point. Then it started being like maybe 5 days a week. But I'm trying to build some other stuff. So sometimes like this week, I think I've been on 4 times a week. I missed 2 days. So maybe 4 or 5 times. I might have missed 3. But what I've learned with having this channel is that you have to put your eggs in another basket. You either got to make sure your eggs are multicolored or you got to put eggs in separate baskets. Okay? Because these people be on your ass. You hear me? They be on you. So you got to color. Make sure that you have multicolored eggs. All right? And then even if they're multicolored, separate them into more than one basket, okay? Don't put all your eggs in one basket. All right? Okay, Tom. Thank you so much, y'all, for being here. I appreciate y'all. And y'all, listen, if you are a small content creator, I'm a small content creator, okay? I got my subscribers through shorts. They were not paid for, okay? Okay. But I'm really, really, really considering, because I've gotten monetized on something else. So I'm really, really considering, like, I don't know. I don't know. You gotta, people they gonna be in your, all up in your mouth and you trying to see what you want to talk about. But just don't put all your eggs in one basket, okay? All right. Small content creators, keep moving, keep going, keep pushing, keep striving, keep elevating, keep lifting, okay? And when nobody else will do it, when it seems like you're the only one in your chat, keep talking, okay? Okay, I had to block for a minute, y'all. Our heart radio station was on. Keep on, because when you look at your algorithm, somebody saw you, okay? Somebody saw you. So, like Top says, have a great night, everybody. Saturday is my rest day. I'll be resting in the Lord. Come on, Top. Just keep going. Look, even if you don't see that many in your chat, when you end your live or the next few hours, somebody saw you, okay? And I'm gonna tell you, sometimes it's best not to have a big chat. I'm glad because it's cozy. It's more like family oriented. Because once my chat started to get a few more people, that's when it started to get chaotic, okay? So imagine people who have 100 in the chat, 200, 300. I like being cozy, all right? So I wish you guys peace, positivity, and prosperity. Because without peace, there's what? Chaos. Without positivity, there's negativity. Wherever chaos and negativity roam together, you will fail to prosper to your fullest potential, okay? Georgia Girl says, I'm here. I'm listening. Thank you, Georgia Girl. I appreciate you. And Georgia Girl is a member. Okay. I appreciate you. I had a few members. I waited a long time to turn my membership on. And then I had to think about it. I adjusted the price because, you know, y'all, it's almost like we're in a recession. People don't have any money, okay? People support you when they come and say hello, if they talk in your chat. Remember, support those who support you. Everybody's not going to be able to make every live. That's impossible. But when you don't see people coming to your live, and then we all kind of hang sometimes around the same streets, and you see them in other lives at other different times, still give them the benefit of the doubt for a while. Maybe they just couldn't catch yours. Maybe they didn't get the notification. But at some point, you got to support the people who support you. Because if you don't, eventually, they will stop supporting you. So make sure that you support the people who support you. Don't have to be every live. Maybe some people, I got one supporter, y'all, his name is Jay. And another one, Lucinda. They never come into the lives. Some people just don't do lives, right? They don't being in the comment section or just actually doing the live. But let me tell y'all, when I look into my algorithm, the bulk of my comments come from them. The bulk of my comments come from those people. So just because you don't see them in the live, if you see them in your studio and they're always giving you words of encouragement, they're in your comment section. To me, that is just as important as coming into the live. Now, if I don't see you at least leaving some comments from time to time, once or twice a month at least, you don't come into the live, but I come into your live. I even hang out, or I even tell you I'm here. I throw in a couple of phrases here or there, because sometimes we work. We have kids, we have grandkids, we're busy. But still, we always tend to use that excuse when it comes to why we're not going somewhere. But when we pop a live, don't y'all want people to be there? And some people had the attitude, well, I won't miss that one. But if you keep doing other people that way, it's not going to just be one. It's going to be two. It's going to be three. It's going to be four. And let me tell you, I have had chats, even now, where there's nobody in there. Everybody's probably busy. Sometimes people ain't up for YouTube that day. But what I'm talking about, if I come into yours 3 or 4 times a week, 2 or 3 times a week, or once a week, and I don't see you but once every 2 weeks, that's not reciprocated. So that means that the support is not reciprocated. And we can always say that stuff about we're so busy and we have other things to do. But that is true. But at the flip of the coin is true as well. If we go in the same places and I see you all over those places at all different times of the day, then I'm kind of looking a little strange, you know? So support those who support you. But I would never look strange at Lucinda. I would never look strange at Jay. You guys never see them in the comments. You probably used to see Lucinda a long time ago. And I see Lucinda in other places. Some people just prefer other types of content. So that being said, even if I don't like your content, if we've met and we clicked and we got along at some point, I'll come in and just say hi. I'll just say hi and keep moving. I can be busy as I'll get out. 9 times out of 10, y'all, when we're busy, what do we still have on us? Our phones. And what are we doing? Looking at them. Your family fussing at you sometimes because you won't get off the phone and have dinner. You at the park, you pulling out your phone. You at the mall, what you do? You got your phone. So you may be on your live and see a notification. You can't go to a live, but what's wrong with going and leaving a comment later? You don't have to do it for everybody you're subscribed to, just the people you tend to see on a regular basis. Georgia Girls, that's laugh out loud. She said, catch the replay. Yeah, catch the replay. Watch their playlist. That's what they do. They watch my playlist, they catch, and they leave a comment. So, and sometimes and guess what, y'all? Sometimes I feel bad because it's something about YouTube. I don't know if it's just because like when you get subscribed to so many people, but sometimes you won't even know that you got certain comments until you go into the studio. Have y'all ever, Georgia Girl, have you ever noticed that? Like you don't see some comments. You just happen to be in the studio looking for something else and you go into your comment section and you see comments in the studio just like a month old or a week old. And you never knew the person left a comment. So, like I said, give people the benefit of the doubt. We'll subscribe to a lot of people. But sometimes we do have our little cliques and little people that, our little boxes, our little neighborhoods of YouTube. So if I see you at everybody else's house, at least once or twice a week, once or twice every 2 weeks, and you come in and you dip, and I'm like, dang, I get them conversation. Maybe not every time because I'm busy, I work. But they just dip. They just say hey and dip. Or they don't do anything at all. Then I can't keep going there as much. I got to go where somebody is coming to say hi, talk a little bit. And then I have my times where if I ain't seen you in months and months, I still go in and say something because I do understand that people get busy. Sometimes people get really tied up in YouTube, y'all. Appreciate the 2 or 3. Come on, George Girl, you got to appreciate the 2 or 3. Exactly. And then while you're talking, sometimes that 2 or 3 turn into 5 or 6. It may go back down to 1 or 2, but you got to appreciate the ones who are there. And like I said, then sometimes they don't even show us everybody because everybody's not going to come in. And it could be just 3 people, and they may not be anybody who subscribed to you. It just may be somebody browsing. So that's why I say I appreciate those people. You got to appreciate those people as well. So you guys have a wonderful weekend. We talked about so much. We talked about health and fitness. We talked about asking your doctor. Ask your doctor if you want a vitamin D test. Ask your doctor if you want them to check this level or that level, and they don't usually check it. Ask them. And if they have a problem with that and you really want to know, there's nothing wrong with you going to another doctor and asking them to do it. Okay? You are your biggest advocate. You are your biggest supporter. You are the one that's going to look out for you the best. Now, you may not be a medical doctor, but you know how you feel. And sometimes maybe it's not physical, but maybe it's mental. Maybe you just want to know what your vitamin D level is. And they don't check that when you go. So you want them to check it. Maybe you want to know what your magnesium level is. Maybe your muscles, maybe you're having cramps. And they're telling you, well, your sodium looks good, your chloride looks good. And you say, well, what about my magnesium, doctor? I heard about that. And if he don't want to check it, go to somebody who will. Okay? Doesn't mean he's a bad doctor. Like I said, sometimes doctors, the first thing they think of is the insurance don't like to pay for that. Well, the oath says that you think patient first. So sometimes it's just something in intuition. So sometimes doctors get so caught up in the science of things that they don't think about people having intuitions, people having discernment, people having curiosity. Like I said, when the pandemic happened and they was talking so much about vitamin D, a lot of people got curious to know what their vitamin D level was. So check it. It's not like you're going to check it every time. And if that person won't check it, call your insurance company, find out if they cover that test. If they do, tell them when you go back, well, my insurance said that they'll cover it. And if they still don't want to do it, go to somebody who will. Okay? Go to somebody who will. You are your biggest advocate. You are your biggest supporter. You are your biggest cheerleader. Other than God, you are your biggest. Use the discernment that he has given you. Use the 5. Look, we got at least 5 senses, okay? Some people say 7. Some people say more than that. But we got at least 5 that we was always taught from childhood, right? Use what you feel. Use whatever your mind is telling you, however you feel. Use it. That's so ugly, y'all. Somebody dropped a little ugly bracelet. But use it. Use your discernment. If you're not comfortable, ask them. Ask him, ask her. If they won't do it, you don't necessarily have to change doctors, but just go to one who will. Just tell them you have a concern, and they're probably going to say, well, do you have a primary health care doctor? Like I said, sometimes you may feel a little uncomfortable because then they're going to say, well, why didn't you ask them? And if you say, well, they wouldn't do it, they may not want to do it either because they don't want to step on any toes because they're going to feel like, well, that's your regular doctor. You're just coming to me because he won't give you this test. Well, sometimes you got to think, do I really want to tell him I have a regular doctor? Sometimes they'll go ahead and do it. Sometimes they'll expect you to do them. And sometimes they won't expect anything. Sometimes they'll just go ahead and do it, So, do what makes you feel comfortable, okay? Top says, mine was a single digit, and when it went up, my depression went down. See? Yes, that vitamin D, look, vitamin D, magnesium, potassium, sodium. Like I said, usually when you get your regular blood work, it'll have your sodium, your chloride, your potassium, your calcium, your BUN, your glucose. It'll have all that, but it usually won't have magnesium. It won't have vitamin D. So if you want to know what it is, just ask them. Ask them. Because when they want to check something, they will. They check your iron, and all that stuff. So your hemoglobin, your all of that. They check all of that. Your hematocrit. So when you want to know, ask them. So y'all be safe. Be blessed first and foremost. Be safe. And if nothing happens, if it's the Lord's will, I'll see you guys maybe tomorrow evening. If not, it's the weekend. I don't know. But I'm going to come by. If I catch any of you guys live, I was glad to catch you live earlier today, Top. George Garrett, was you live today? I can't remember. I know we was live yesterday because we was talking about the incident in Detroit. Is it Detroit where that happened with the at McDonald's? So I know we was live yesterday. Did you go live today? I cannot remember. You did? Okay, I'm gonna have to go back and look because sometimes I will catch a live too, y'all, and I won't say anything. It depends on what's going on at work. So like if I was active in the live, I tend to remember. But sometimes, if I'm in a place where I can't type and stuff and I just have it playing, I won't remember if I was in the live that day. Sometimes I will, sometimes I won't. Okay, earlier I'm gonna go back and look. Top says, okie dokie, love. Okay, y'all. Bye, y'all. Bye. Listen, don't let bother people bother you. Remember, don't let stress people stress you out. George Girl, I just finished a live. You did, Top. Did you do another one? Did you do another live? Because I think I was in your live this afternoon. Did you do another one or did you stay on from that time? I got to go see. And another thing too is like I don't lie to people about the lives, y'all. If I can watch the whole live, I'm gonna watch the whole live. If I can't, I'm gonna watch enough to make it count. Okay. Life outside of YouTube. Okay. I'm gonna go and look too. See y'all hopefully tomorrow. If not, the next day. Bye, y'all.